So greetings everybody. My name is Almina. I'm the concept author of the book Faceconomics, and it is now the 30th of January, almost 2 days before the end of the month. I hope you're all doing well. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening everybody around the world that are following our podcasts. The Face Economics podcast is predominantly dedicated to paying attention and monitoring various social media posts around the world pertaining to social and economic development. So that would entail things that the public are sharing on their social media platform, and anything that would provide proof and revelation of the evolution of the marketplace. We don't live in the 1940s anymore, and we certainly do not live in a monolithic country in the U.S. We are a diversified group of people from various background and culture, and as everybody are aware, this is a country of immigrants, and we all came from various backgrounds, places on this planet, and therefore we need to find a way to harmonize the potential of each individual person on this in this country. So having said that, my name again is Almina, and I'll be talking a little bit about what's going on in the marketplace away from all the commotion and distraction that the political environment in the country is kind of tossed out there, and people are inundated by political events and political opinions and agenda versus utilizing their social media platform to effectively contribute to the economic development of our country. And I wish and ask that people around the world would also consider using their social media platform to monitor the marketplace, not just the mudslinging that are going on within their political system. Because let's face it, politicians come and go, attitudes of marketplace in towards a specific agenda or party policy tend to change, relatively quickly, or significantly influencing the short-term activity within a country. Politics doesn't really they don't have a staying power relatively to the evolution of their marketplace. As society evolve and people become more educated, so does their attitude towards politics, and so will their overall outlook towards policy. So do not be so caught up in party agendas, because even in the U.S. The Republican and Democratic Party have evolved to the point that they're not 100% consistent to their mission or agenda or objectives anymore, just because people evolve. Marketplace evolve, societies evolve, attitudes evolve, and they all change as the public become more educated. So having said that, that's what we do here with the Face Economics podcast. We are obviously not going to be able to talk about everything that's going on in the U.S. as well as other parts of the world, but we'll try to just reflect and make sense of what's truly happening. There's going to be a lot of distraction because of the social media platform and the availability of information and continuous debates and posts that are being shared on social media. Never in human history that was even possible up until the social media revolution entered the scene and became widely accepted within the marketplace. Speaking of which, I've seen several posts on social media about institutions that are taking advantage of the consumers here in the U.S. regarding financial transactions and uh, various loan systems, banks and financial systems taking advantage of the public during the pandemic. So I just kind of want to reflect a little bit on that, just because it's shared on social media and that is a part of the economic situation in the country. So here at Face Economics podcast, we want to make sure that we find some sort of clarity for the marketplace, for the consumers, because we want to make sure that they are well protected from predatory, agendas of institutions that are taking advantage of people that are already, down and out. They're already suffering. We don't want, the marketplace to further be, be the recipient of, institutions that are way, they're capitalizing on the pandemic and the hardship, economic hardship of the population. So there are some banks that would create, late payment schemes for those that are behind on their payments, maybe credit card payments or loan payments, mortgage payments, student loan payments. They're kind of, well, they're basically telling the population or the public to, just go ahead and delay making payments, but in all reality, they're still charging them late fees and interest charges on top of their principal loan, and plus they're also benefiting from the federal government stimulus package. These banks and financial institutions. On top of that, not just from the stimulus, they're also getting insurance for their loans from various, federal, or I'm sorry, insurance regulators for the banking sector. So they're multi-dipping. It's not just, your interest, your late fees, them prolonging your payments so it extends, the amount of money that you would end up having to pay them. They're actually, also benefiting from stimulus and from, insurance providers to their, capital for their funds. And that's really concerning, and you wouldn't think that would be happening in the marketplace the size of the U.S. because in all reality, we actually print our own money, our own currency. So it's like we're putting people in more economic hardship rather than trying to alleviate, the situation for them. And instead of helping them get back on their feet, we're, pushing them down further. And that's extremely troubling because, we're messing, we're basically putting people at a major disadvantage by doing that, because their lives and their current situation because of this pandemic is already affected, either if they're unemployed or are making less money because their hours or their overall employment situation have been disrupted by the pandemic, and yet we're making them agree to predatory type of lending and predatory ways of making payments on those debt. So just be on the lookout, folks. Make sure that you pay attention to how you're being charged by your banks and financial institutions. Having said that, my name is Almina. Our agenda is not to, you know, disrupt, but to educate and make sure that people are paying attention to what's going on outside of all these noises and commotions from, the political environment in our country, and sometimes people get so, caught up with, what's going on in the political system, they forget about, the overall structure of a marketplace. Yes, politicians and decision makers can influence the marketplace and create some sort of policy to affect markets, but overall the marketplace is much stronger than the political system, just because we have consumers and we have people that will have to consume goods and services. Politicians can't make you buy food. They can't make you, hire a plumber. So that's the marketplace basically creating an environment for, life and societies to be sustainable outside of politics. So in all reality, you can have just about any political system in the marketplace as long as it's not a corrupt system, and your country and society will thrive. Just because, in a free market, the consumer will basically keep the market afloat because they would need to buy goods and services. And time again, whenever I, read the news or see whatever's being posted on social media, it seems as if, we're overly, putting our mental, investments into the political realm or the political environment in our country. Politicians are put in place by their electorate, and their electorate are the marketplace. The electorate are the consumers, and therefore, most of these consumers would want to look out for the interests of the marketplace rather than playing politics like most politicians would rather do.